Chillin' with the Mayos, catch the vibe. Every convo wanna feel alive. Tune in now, we got the scoop. Laughs and insights, join the troop.
Chillin' with the Mayo. You know it.
Hey guys, it's another episode of Chillin' with the Mayo.
Back like we never left.
So it's a Thursday. Thankfully, it's a Thursday. I'm tired. Life of entrepreneurs, I think that's our big topic. But it leads right into a good space for us. I think this week's been pretty busy for myself. I'm starting a new business. So that's always very weighted. It's fun, but it's not that fun. You have moments where it's like exciting and it's build up, but then there's moments where it's like hard work, up early, up late. So I'm just in the midst of that. So yay. There's like roller coaster of emotion. So
What's the life of a wife of an entrepreneur, of a network marketer? What's life like?
oh, okay. So it's weighted. I think it's a great experience in life, but I think it's also a lot of hard work that I personally didn't know was involved with it. Because he's the marketer, right? He's the face. He's the one who has to do the speaking and the public things and do all of that. But I didn't know there was like an undertone job that was mine also, you know? I mean, some people don't have to go to events and things like that, but I don't know. I felt the need to want to be there because how am I going to have a conversation with you or, you know, relate to what we're talking about? I'd be like, how was your event? It felt better for me to be there in person to like experience it. You know, I want to meet the same people we're talking about. That way, when we're having a conversation, I can be like, oh, okay, I remember her. We was there. So I think it's made the journey a lot more enjoyable by immersing myself in that world too. Not by choice necessarily, but it hasn't done me wrong.
Yeah.
I've definitely come to meet a lot of great people along the way that I don't think I would have met if I hadn't been interested or taken an interest in at least going to some of the things or being at some of these events so that you can meet it and actually know the products. And, you know, I've made a couple sales myself just randomly talking to people. So,
And even what it does from a relationship standpoint, you know, it's like, because think about it, if you in that world, you know, takes you be out, like you said, you got a lot of events, you know, I'm on the road a lot, you know what I mean? I'm always out and about. So if you didn't engulf yourself with it, you was like, yeah, it's not for me, or, you know, that's your thing, you know, do your thing, and you didn't support it like that, then it would be a whole different dynamic. Think about it. You know, I'm away from the house, you know what I mean? That's not a lot of time that we could be spending together. We're not spending together, you know what I mean? Whereas now, you know, it's like, yeah, it's business, but it's pleasure at the same time because business is only going to take up so much time. And then now, we in this new place that we never been before. Or we got to be in Dallas for the first time, or, you know, Houston. We're flying all over the place. You know, oh wow, they're doing a retreat in Cancun. You know, we never been there. Now we in Cancun for the first time. You know, so imagine not had taken that role. You know, where we'd be at. You know, what I mean, it'd be a whole different dynamic.
I agree because we've had some fun times and a lot of it's been like business after hours, like, or just being in those environments or being around people for 4 or 5 days. Like you can't help but meet at the bar or you having dinner together. So they become really good friends. I know I have some personal favorites we've been along the way. And it's like certain experiences wouldn't have been the same without those people there too. So I have thoroughly enjoy just seeing the lifestyle of what entrepreneurship can bring. You know, I mean, I grew up having working class parents and, you know, I think it wasn't bad. I can applaud and appreciate a steady income and being able to count on something and know that it's for sure coming. I can appreciate that. But I think for me, it just wasn't enough of some of the things that I wanted to do. And I didn't think that, you know, having a steady or a set amount of money always coming in was going to allow me to do some of the extra things that I wanted to do on top of just maintaining your lifestyle. Like, yeah, I want to be able to pay my rent, but I want to be able to go out on the weekends, or I want to take this trip in a couple of months or things like that. And it's just like you either had to work overtime, get a second job, and it just felt like the responsibility outweighed the enjoyment of actually doing the fun things in life. Like it felt more like a chore. Like you super had to work hard for it. And then by the time it was over, it kind of was like, dang, some people actually go in debt behind taking vacations, or you know what I mean? And it's hard. It's a hard balance, because what if you don't want to take that second job? Then maybe you never take vacation.
So what would you say is the hardest part of being a wife of a network marketer?
The time balance. We we have the same conversation a lot, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh yeah, for sure." The other partner that's not the marketer has to deal with the constant contact of other people needing to be in touch. Like when you want to call AT&T, you call their customer service department. Well, surprise, he puts his real phone number online, so he is customer service department all day, and sometimes that's all hours. That's different time zones. There's people overseas, and the time management can be very intrusive sometimes. Sometimes I just want to have a conversation with him without your best friend calling, the business people calling, maybe it's a developer calling, maybe it's a affiliate program calling, maybe it's an opportunity. Don't get me started on opportunity calls, because, hey man, I got something I want you to look at. I just need a minute of your time. I know for sure it's a minimum of 10, 15-minute conversation. So imagine that all day. So we fight a little bit. We got to fight for the time. So, sometimes we'll just pop up in the office, just open the door and then we come. We bring the party to him sometimes, because I know he can get caught up in like, I know this is my business, so I have to be here. And I respect that. But after 7:30, I'm going to come looking for you. Dinner's ready. They want to hang out too, watch some TV. Like, you have to find that balance. So as understanding as I can be when he's up at 3, 4 in the morning, moving around, turning lights on, I know he's going to be leaving out of there soon. So the trade-off is sometimes it gets a little lonely. Sometimes you don't feel like the first, like hop when you hop, things kind of like that. But I would rather you be home and me be able to kind of have a little bit more access to you, or even just pop in and have a 10, 15-minute conversation that I would have to call you or wait for you to be on lunch or some things like that. So the trade-off for me is easier. Like if we need to talk about something right then and there, I can just kind of like stand there.
And see, that's the flip side.
At the door.
Yeah, that's the flip side that I was about to actually say. So it's good you touched on that, because I was like, a lot of people don't realize that. They're like, well, you got to have time for the family and all that. You're right. You do got to make that time. But they don't even realize that the family's actually getting more time, even with me spending so much time at home, working in my home office. But like you said, at any given time, you guys could pop in, what I mean? People, and you do, and I could take a break at any given time because I'm my own boss. So at any given moment, it's like, all right, it's a break time. Or, I feel like taking a break. I'm walk around or go in the backyard or hit the swing or whatever the case may be. We got the time to do that. Whereas other people don't have that luxury. When they go on a 9 to 5, it's 9 to 5,
For sure.
And then you got to get up, and it's even before that, because you had to get up early, and then you had to be in rush hour, and then you had to come back through rush hour. So by the time that you really get home, when you really add it up, you're like, it's not really that many hours.
It's like 6 to 6.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And then by the time you get home, it's like I might have, maybe 3 more hours left, 4 more hours with the family before I got to get into bed and do it all over again.
Man, you got to get home, get dinner started, make sure the homework's done, then maybe some TV, baths, and it's time for bed.
So we're talking about an hour at best.
Hour and a half.
You know what I mean? If we're being honest, but people don't even really think about it like that. But if you really thought about your day, if you got a full-time job, and please don't have 2 jobs or something, where you working overtime, then forget about it. You don't even have that, And it's like, those are things I think that people don't look at, from an entrepreneur standpoint, where they be like, well, you ain't giving us that much time. Like, well, actually, you're getting a lot more time than you probably realize. But it's easy to take that for granted also, because if that's all you ever known and that's all you ever see, then that becomes your reality. So you really start to live in this different world, thinking like everybody's like, well, wait a minute, isn't everybody having their dad at home like this all day? Or, so I still want more, and it's never going to be enough. It's never going to be enough for the kids, never going to be enough, for the wife. It's never going to be enough. It's always going to be more, because people long for that. But when you really put it in perspective, it's a blessing to be able to be home and to be able to, at any given time, be able to not miss moments that normally you'd be missing. You'd be like, oh, your daughter walked for the first time, or she took her first words or her first step.
That's a big
or,
one.
You know what I mean? A lot of different things that you would just miss. Oh, come here real fast. Ain't no come here real fast, So Yep.
I mean, I think about that show, Everybody Hates Chris, because, you think about the dad, he would go to work, go to work, go to work. The mom would talk to him when he got home. He would go to sleep. Then he got up, he ate his food, then he went to his second job. And I remember growing up with a lot of people like that. Their dad was always at work, or, you barely saw him, or you knew his one day off because that was the day you saw him outside. But I think it's been so the norm that sometimes even when you hear somebody say the word entrepreneur, like, what? Because who's to say it's going to be a good month? Who's to say it's going to work? Who's to say every month you're going to have enough money to make those ends meet and then whatever else you're trying to do? Who's to say the life of an entrepreneur isn't for
Yeah, you
some
gotta take
people?
risk. And you
Because
betting on
big
yourself.
risk. Yeah, big risk.
Yep. And you betting on yourself, so it's hard to bet on yourself. It's easier to trade hours for dollars. It's easier to just say, look, all I gotta do is show up on time, and I know I'm gonna get a set amount of money. At the end of the week, this is
Yeah.
what I'm gonna get paid. I just gotta
Yeah.
show up, and that's a lot more comfortable than taking a risk and saying, you know what, I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna go all in on myself. I seen an episode Dame Dash was talking, and he was like, well, how'd you go broke, or why you not as rich as some of your friends and things like that. He said, because I kept betting on myself. And you're not going to stop betting on yourself until you win. You know what I mean? That's the difference in betting on yourself and betting on others. When you bet on others, it's like, it doesn't have the same impact because, yeah, it's not my thing. It's not my baby when I'm dealing with this. It's not my job that I'm working. I'm working your situation. I'm working your job, and I'm just an employee. So it's easier for me to come in late. It's easier for me to slack off. It's easier for me to be at the water cooler instead of really, really taking my job 100% serious as I should. But when it's yours, it's gonna be a whole different kind of passion, But it's just scary to go all in like that because everything's on you. If it don't work out, then you failed. You know what I mean? If this
Yeah.
thing doesn't move like you need to move, then you're the one that's gonna have to weather that storm. You're the one that's gonna have to go through it to get to it, and that's what people are scared to do. But
But that is literally the definition of betting on yourself. You are so confident in your dream, your passion, this thought, this idea that you're willing to put everything else aside. And sometimes people don't even have jobs going into entrepreneurship, or you are just getting by with the two jobs that you have, but that requires you to quit this and start this, or going to school and starting a business. Like a lot of people, it take big risks to even get the idea and enough, I think, spirit about yourself to say, I'm going to do this. I think we all are born with the dreams, and we've always wanted to be something and things like that. And some people don't make it because it wasn't their thing. Like they just saw what it was going to take for them to get there, and they said, that's not for me. I'm not doing it. Like I don't think I'm going to accomplish the goal. So they found something that they were comfortable doing, but it's a big road to take those risks sometimes, financially, emotionally, the thought of risking it all on big moves, and hoping it pans out. Not for sure, but you're going to do everything you can. Big time, big life movement. So you have to have a partner that can understand taking those risks too, being willing to bet on those risks too, and be understanding about it, because what you spent last month might not be what you spend this month. What you bought 2 years ago might not be what you're buying this year. So those lifestyle things are big things I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't talk about, but also they don't get that same understanding as someone who gets a job and then they get laid off, like that understanding, because dang, the company shut down out of nowhere. We see that a ton in this lifestyle. So, oh, well, they just said that they're cutting their program, or they're not going through with this anymore. So what does that do for the 20 people or the 50 people you brought and all of that? So it's a lifestyle adjustment. I think it has pros and cons, but it's more pros than cons.
so, what do you think is the biggest misconception people have about me?
About you?
Yeah.
Oh. I think you can come off very, very cocky. I think you have this confidence that comes off sometimes as, I know it all. I'm a smarty pants, and I don't have to listen to you. But I will say, very smart, very intelligent person. So you walk with the confidence that you have about yourself. And so I think a lot of times people misconstrue it as something nasty, like, oh, he just can't, he's not susceptible to learning, or, you know, he can't listen to somebody else. But I am here to tell you, he listens to me all the time.
You know what? You know what that comes from? Honestly, what that really comes from, and yeah, to a certain degree, I'm working on it. But what happens is it comes from, and this is not being cocky or just trying to like feel myself, but just being honest. It comes from being right more than I'm being wrong in a lot of situations, and it's because I'm a real analytical person. So I'm a real calculated. I'm not just moving with emotion. You know, I'm moving with purpose, and because of that, I'm not moving like most people. Like a lot of people, you see them even on social media, they'll post and they don't even fact check before they post. But they'll post like it's fact though. They getting emotional and they're already in their
Right.
feelings. They're ready to start blocking people and don't even
Yeah.
realize like, oh, that's a fake picture right there. Oh, that's a fake article. That's not even real.
They do that
You
a
know what I
lot,
mean?
yeah.
And I'm the opposite of that. I'm like, no, I'm doing all research and I know data and I'm doing. So by the time I'm into a debate or into a situation where it's getting like a confrontational situation, I've done my homework for sure because I don't like being, and that's the other thing. I don't like being wrong. I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to end up with egg in my face. I don't want nobody to say I told you so. So because of that, I'm making sure that I know what I'm talking about. I'm not
Right.
going to play myself. So because of that, and then I watch it in reverse happen, you know, where I was right, and then look, then it turns to the opposite. You're like, nobody wants to hear I told you so. Well, yeah, see, that's why you shouldn't have been debating with me. But now you don't want to hear the flip side of that. So now it comes across being
Ooh,
cocky and arrogant.
And I told you so be so tasty when it rolls out of his mouth.
And it's coming. You know what I mean? I'm the king of receipts. Like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna remember this conversation. And they
If
be
you
like,
know him online, then y'all know what he talk about too. And what did he talk about them the receipts? I mean, the comments be lit.
I'm gonna come back with him. You know what I mean?
Screenshot after screenshot it. Oh my goodness. But
Remember this conversation? Oh, you remember this post? Oh, what'd you say right here? Yeah.
I'm telling you, I know they be like, oh, here he come.
Yeah, so that's the reason why, you know what I mean, I can come across like that sometimes. But even with that, still trying to work on it because, hey, everybody don't know it all. You know what I mean? And like again, and that's why I don't want to come across like I just know it all. But that's the difference in that people that do know me can agree to is that I'm always open to listen. Though that's the reason why my phone number is out there like that, and that's why you can call me because you can't have your number out there if you're not want to listen. You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
So
I will say.
and that's the difference. So they'll see like, wow, you know what? No matter what level you at, and no matter how much money you've made in the industry, no matter what status you've gotten to or what you've accomplished in life, you didn't change that part of you as a person. You know what I mean? You're still super accessible. You know what I mean? Anybody can talk to you. I can always get a hold of you. You know, I can always reach out to you and bounce things off you, even when other people will probably pay for ask for some type of monetization for that. You're doing it just on a strength.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes you just do things just because it feels right, or it's the right moment, or it's not a big inconvenience, you know what I mean? Or it's not something that you're going to do multiple times. But I mean, I think you do nice things all the time for people. So even when you guys think he's not nice.
The other misconception.
I don't know.
Everybody think I'm just a Scrooge. Not everybody don't think that.
Do they?
Some people.
Oh man, okay. So I think that was one of my big reasons for this is because I think you just have to spend more time with you. You know what I mean? Like in those off moments when you don't have to be in front of people. He's super silly, like super silly at home. If I could show you our home footage, that's different. Like I just think that sometimes because we're in business settings, it doesn't call for you to be hopping around or doing anything silly. So in the right atmosphere, get him to a kid amusement park or a bounce house or a jump zone and he's all in. So I think it's just sometimes getting to know beyond, because if you've ever been to our house, we have a good time. We always have a good time.
Yep. Nah, for sure.
Okay. So I think we're going to switch gears. I think that's cool. We had a good chat about the entrepreneur life. I don't know. He might have had something to add. Do you have something to add about the life of a husband of an entrepreneur?
I mean, not really.
Okay.
It's smooth selling for me.
Do you have any pros or cons that you feel like outweigh the other?
I'm not gonna. I don't want to stay on the entrepreneur thing too long. But what I will say is that if you have somebody that's going to support you through your entrepreneurship, then it's going to make it 10 times easier. the last thing that I mean, it's already hard as it is, especially with network marketing. I'm gonna speak on specifically, and when you're trying to make it as a network marketer, if you got somebody that doesn't support you, then you gotta figure it's already hard as it is. All right, it's already hard to get sales. It's already hard to to talk to people and come out of your shell and put your best foot forward. So when you're already that part of life is hard. Now you gotta deal with your significant other telling you to, oh, you need to stop, or you need to quit, or this isn't working, or oh my God, you're doing that thing again, or you what, not this MLM
Yeah.
thing or network marketing thing again, right? And no, I'm not going to that event with you. I got better things to do. Like all these different negative things that's gonna now start to take a toll on you as a person. Like how can it not?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that right there will then in turn take a toll on your business and you as a marketer and you being able to be the best you. Whereas if you got the opposite of that, then everything is an adventure. Everything's fun. You got your biggest supporter. Sometimes you might be down, your supporter gonna bring you up. You know what I mean? And that's needed. No, that's needed in life. Think about that. If you had nobody ever there to bring you up, think about it. Who's helping you get through those times when you're down? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for that reason, I feel that, because you support me in all the things that I do and, and always been there, that made it 10 times easier. And then, like I said, we make it business and pleasure. You know what I mean? So we get the best of both worlds. So it's like, all right, yep, this is the business trip, but how much business I got to do in Cancun right now? You know what I mean? So, I mean, hey, so once we get business out the way, it's all pleasure, baby.
Meetings in the morning, dinner and fun in the evening.
Hey, so
we have a good time. We always love.
So for that, yeah, it's great. I can't complain.
Okay. So there's this big thing about 5 love languages, right? I think most people, I'm going to be honest, we took a test today. This is the first time in some time. I think this conversation's even come up, but it was necessary because I think if your love language is very different from your partner's, it's going to be hard to have certain conversations about maybe feelings or, how certain things come across because what means so much to me doesn't mean so much to him, right? So when we did this, I knew what his love language was before he took the test, and I felt like he had a good understanding of mine. But of course, these tests make you like pick one or the other, and sometimes it's a little bit of both. So I felt like mine was pretty spot on, but I felt like I was some of the other ones too. But mine came back as words of affirmation. Right? He named it. He named it.
I know you. I know you like a book.
He that's what he said.
But mine was off. Yeah.
His was
Mine was off.
his was off. But okay, what did yours come back as?
I think touch.
Okay, physical touch, which I would say if I had to say he was 50-50, it would be that and gifts.
Gifts, man. Bring me the gifts. I like gifts. But see, what it is they didn't do a good enough job with the questions because it'd be like, would you like a gift over
a hug?
A hug, or sex with your wife? Like, come on, man, what are you talking about? Like, no, like, And then what kind of gift? Like, I mean, gifts is vague. It could be something small, it could be something big. If it was a big gift, it's going to be different than if it was a small gift.
I don't know. It was like, okay.
And what's the situation, like the occasion, like what's going on right now?
It was pretty standard. It was like, okay, would you rather, if it came to spending quality time, would you rather receive a small token of affection or have a home cooked meal by your spouse? I'm gonna pick the home cooked meal. I don't need your random act or your random gift so that you can go skate off and go play the Xbox. Let's spend some time together. Let's do that. But for everybody else who would just be like, no, thank you, or would rather something else, then it's going, again, I think it's funny to have those kind of conversations because maybe you don't think telling your partner like, oh, you look so beautiful today, or oh, you smell lovely, or oh, you looking nice today. Maybe you don't think that that's a big deal for you, or that doesn't move or shake you like it would your partner. So I thought it was a good thing to have a conversation about, or at least to know what your partner does hold near and dear to them. Because even at the end of the day, if you really want like points, like big brownie points, big vacation points, like I get to do what I want to do, you'll do something that matters the most. And if you know how to get to them, well then, if all you got to do is wake up and write them a little love note and leave it on their nightstand.
I agree with that. If you know your if you don't, especially if you don't know your partner, you know what I mean, and you're not super, well connected like that, then that test would definitely help a lot, because then it'd be like, oh, well, I didn't know that was your love language. See, as for me, as you saw, I knew it to a T, so I just picked all your things out, boop 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 boop, without her
That's
even
what he
telling me.
says.
I even knew to the point it was a combination, so it was like, it's not no one thing, it's like three of those. You know what I mean? So if out of all
He
those,
is right about that.
out of those five, it was three of the five. It was a combination. You're like, yeah, that's actually was. But if it was one, it'd be that one. So I even broke it down to that point. But that comes from being connected. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you got that type of bond where, and that's why I said, at the end of the day, people need to be trying to find, I feel, their best friend. You know what I mean? Because you gotta want to be around that person. That's another thing. You see people, they don't even want to be around each other. Like, they just in it just to be in it sometimes. Like, yeah, in a relationship, you're miserable. Why are you in a relationship? But I
You know what
mean,
happens though? And it so easily happens. People just be together so long, you think that person that you met 10, 9, 8 years ago is still the same person that they are today. And so commonly we get it misconstrued that people don't change in the midst of just growing up. Again, like what we liked in high school, we don't like now as in our 30s and 40s. So to think that a relationship isn't supposed to morph into something different, into something better and evolve, that's what your goal is. But sometimes you're not connecting, like you're not growing together. You're not building that life together that allows you to grow, but then you're significantly still learning each other and still becoming interested in who you're becoming. Because I might just like the plumber. I didn't sign up for this network marketer you trying to be now. And so now you want me to do all this stuff, and that's not the life I decided to have with you.
okay, so that's what I'm about to say. So you think it's fair that the person just instantly, boom, put the unrealistic expectation and like expect you to change overnight? Because think about it, it takes time to get to any place you're trying to get to. So when you change in or you're morphing into this new person or this new you, whoever you with is seeing this happen. You know what I mean?
sure.
They're going through it with you. So if let's say for instance, it takes years, right? Let's say you've been together for 10 years and 5 years it was great, but then the next five y'all was just going through it. It was just going downhill,
Right.
downhill, downhill. Then, after the end of the 5 years, boom, you decide to split. And your reason is because, oh well, what moved me 5 years ago don't move me now. Is that really fair when you guys came into a unionship and you was a certain way and I was a certain way, and that's what attracted me to you? It might be certain qualities that you're saying now, like, oh, well, that's not what I'm about no more. And it might be like, that's exactly what I was attracted to, though. Or this was the thing that I really endured you about. But now you're saying that this isn't even who you are, and this isn't even what you're about. Like, of course I'm not feeling you the same way now. You know what I mean? And then is that even really fair? Because like, how do you just change like that? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, life changes, we all change, but you don't change overnight. And if this is what you're doing, then you owe it to your partner and say, you know what? That I'm not the person you think I am. Before we get deep, 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 deep down the rabbit hole, and then it's like hard to get out of it.
So, that's so weighted, because it's not fair to just change overnight. But a lot of the times I feel like it's not something that's just happening overnight. It starts by little differences. Like, oh, well, I want to do this. Oh, but I wanted to do that. And you can't compromise. So y'all both just end up going your separate ways on that. Okay. So the alternative is like the next time you should be compromising about something, y'all just be like, nah, I'm not, you not. So we just going to go our separate way again. But we still kind of, you know what I mean? But you start building a life outside of each other that doesn't have anything to do with each other. And so you're not going to bring this up in conversation. You're not going to meet together and divulge certain information. So it becomes your own business. And then slowly but surely, everything else starts to become like that. You don't talk about the same shows. You don't hang out with each other. You don't know the group of friends your other one is with. And before you know it, you hearing mysterious or I think, or now you got allegations and bad conversations. And it is really powerful if you choose to grow with your partner. It can be so life-changing in different ways, because like I said, no matter what happens, your life is going to change regardless. You have children, you graduate, you go to school, you take on new career paths, you're still with that person. So if they're not coming along with you for that journey and they're not stepping in it wholeheartedly like it's their own journey, the support is going to be lacking. And then I think that drives your lifestyles apart. Now, is it fair to say I feel like something different is in me and I want to go talk to my partner about it. And we have an open conversation about something's different about me. Or I don't like the same cheese pizza we used to have and I want to go to turkey pepperoni. And he's not feeling that. How do we find a way to compromise on that? Do we get a half and half? Are you going to be okay with having a half and half? He might be okay with that, but are we trying to make that work? Yes. Now, if he just says, no, I'm only eating cheese pizza.
Well, do you know what it comes down to?
What am I going to do?
Honestly, what it comes down to at that point is communication. And I think that's the number one problem. What it is that people stop communicating. They don't tell how they really feel. They quick to tell other people how they feel. They'll tell their girlfriend, they'll tell their best friend, you know what I mean?
So you're saying even if we don't agree, we agree to disagree, but we still talk about it because we still want to be inclusive to each other. But okay, what if you don't want to hear about my pepperoni no more? You like,
then say that. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing.
Is that closing the door? Does that make me not want to talk to you no more?
But some doors can be closed, though. Some doors need to be closed sometimes, and it does need to keep being harped on and keep talked about, and like, where is this going, and how's this moving us, like, in a positive light? Like, okay, we dealt with it, we talked about it numerous times, millions of times. So now at this point, what is bringing this certain thing up, or what is going back down this certain road doing for us as a whole? You know what I mean? As a relationship, as a everything. If we're not growing from it, then and it no longer serves you, then why are we even doing with it? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, people focus on things that it's out of your all right, you can't change this. Like, this can't change. This happened. Y'all been through it, but y'all still decide to be together. So why you still even bringing that up? Or why you still dealing with that? Or why you got to the point now you shut down and you feel that that's a better move? All right, I just won't bring it up. I won't say anything. But you're letting it. But you're letting these things pile up, though. Now that this issue turned into this issue and this issue, now they are piling up on top of each other. If you'd have dealt with it when it was just one issue, it would be a lot less impact. But now that's the 10th issue, and now you blew up. Guess what? It ain't just this, it's this, and the 9 other things that happen. So when you blow up in a way that's like, dang, you be tripping off of this, or this what you that upset over? You know what I mean? But really, it ain't even that. It's that and the 9 other things.
That's so good. That's a good one. That's a good one. Because even if you agree to disagree in the heat of that moment, how do you know that's not going to manifest in the next problem? And I feel what you're saying, because it's like, oh, okay, well, we didn't agree on that last situation, but are you going to come into this new disagreement with the same feelings that I'm standing on this? Like, I feel like even though we get so strict about certain things that the compromise becomes too much, or one person feels like they're always giving and no one else is, no one else has to give, or I'm always the one sacrificing and you're not giving up anything. So how do you know when the compromise is balanced? Like, when one partner feels like they're not just like, I don't want to budge just because I always budge.
Well, again, communication. And I'm going to tell you something. The number one reason why the stuff starts to break down, because once you don't communicate, the number one issue and problem you're going to have that's going to come next is assuming. And nothing can kill a relationship faster than assuming. And that's whether it's a friendly relationship or a intimate one, doesn't matter. If you're ever out here assuming things, that's why I say, you big ass out of you and me. You know what happens when you assume? That's where I come from. Because when you start, the moment that you don't know for facts, you start filling in the blanks. Oh my God. And you take yourself to a place that, oh wow, you know what? We would have talked about it. We didn't know that wasn't really like that. Like, you might be taking something one way, and since we didn't talk about it,
that way.
and we didn't talk about it. So guess what? You standing on business like this. How I feel about that. And then the whole time, since we never talked, I might be like, oh, well, I don't know what she tripping on, but she tripping on something. But oh well, it ain't my problem. It's her problem. And then don't come to realize, if we would have talked and come to find out, well, I was acting like that because I found out I thought you was treating me like this because of this. I'm like, what? Nah, I was that day thinking about something that happened at work, and that's what I was thinking about. You thought I was thinking about you? Yeah, I thought it was about me. Nah, I wasn't even thinking. And then boom, understanding.
Right.
And then think about how many times that happens to people, you know what I mean? And like I said, all forms of relationships,
right.
Not just
it's always just a miscommunication.
Miscommunication.
But I think that stems from people not knowing how to communicate properly, because it is not something that is practiced nor preached. And I personally have never been told how to properly communicate in a disagreement, or how to have an argument that was a fair fight, or even just expressing my opinion, accepting how someone responds to that, and then walking away from it with either the satisfaction of it coming out in a good or bad way. But no one tells you how to fight. When you see a fight, you see fists, you see yelling, yelling and screaming and pushing and brawling. You don't see anybody just sitting down having a conversation, disagreeing, not yelling, not screaming and throwing drinks, but you just communicating how you feel and letting the other person talk and actually listening to them. But, being so combative and, waiting to give you a rebuttal, you don't even hear what they're saying, or you're not even trying to come to a resolution. You're just so mad, or you're just feeling how you're feeling today. And that's how it's going to go. And so I feel like we're not taught to fight fair. Or maybe you're not a good talker and you do shut down. I'm one of those people. Like, I don't necessarily, if I'm in a mood, I don't maybe want to talk about it, but maybe I can write about it, or maybe I can give myself some time to really process my thoughts before I say something. And I'm not a responsive anger person. I don't like that, because I remember a lot of what people say when they're angry, but when you come at me calmly, it takes a different type of tension off the situation. Like, yeah, we may not even agree at the end of it all, but at least I don't feel like I'm about to be on edge, or like I'm excited. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Are you going to jump up out that chair on me? Or like, are we going to walk out of here okay? Like, I feel like that's what's not communicated enough. Like, you can care about how they feel about what you say and still not be in the same space about it. Or I'm not going to change how I feel about it, but I respect you enough for at least hearing me out, understanding where I'm coming from. Because a lot of the time, what else happens? Like, oh, you didn't mean it like that? That's how I took it, because you did this and then you did that. And then I just assumed because you didn't say anything else. And it was like, oh no, I didn't know I was mad about this. And so I've seen it a dozen times that it's always just miscommunication. But
More times than not.
how? You know what I mean? Like, how do you get to that place to start the communication?
And the other problem is the fact of not always having to feel like you have to be right all the time. Because you always got to feel like you're going to be right, then you're never going to see the other person's point of view. You're never going to catch their perspective. You're not going to be able to see anything other than your way of seeing it. So that comes with that. All right, I'm just listening to you talk so I can hurry up and talk and talk. So you're not even in it like that. You know what I mean? Whereas if you get to a point where you're so disciplined, where like I even teach, people, my sons and things like that, my kids, like, look, you ain't got to be right. You know what I mean? Or I don't have to be validated that I'm right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? As long as I actually said what I needed to say, and I know that person heard me, and I know it came across. So, because you can't unhear what you heard, and you can't unsee what you saw. So when I show you something, and it's actual facts, or I tell you something that can't be disputed, I don't need you to validate it. I know it's hard for people to admit, realness. I know it's hard for people to admit when they're wrong. I know it's hard for people to admit that someone else is right. I know so I don't even put you in that position. I just need you to hear it. And then once you heard it, I'm good. Because guess what? When you in that room by yourself, you're looking in the mirror and you're looking back at yourself, you can lie to me, you can lie to the world, you ain't gonna lie to yourself. So I know what you heard. As long as I'm coming at you with realness. Now, if I'm coming at you with a bunch of nonsense and some fakeness, then yeah, that's gonna go over your head and you're gonna be looking at it like, man, this dude's full of crap and I don't know what he on. But if it's some realness, someone's really talking about some realness and you just want to debate, no problem. I don't need to debate. I just need to say my piece so that when you by yourself and you read and that's all playing back in your head, you're gonna be like, you know what? You weren't wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can't front on that. Or yeah, when I'm looking at it from that perspective, yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
And don't be afraid to apologize. Don't be afraid to apologize. Don't be afraid to apologize, because if you're really trying to build something long term, nothing speaks louder volumes than accepting your responsibility and your role in something that happened that you played a part in. It's one thing for someone to be antagonistic, but you have to be a responder also. So even if somebody is yelling and cussing and fussing at you and, things go left, how you respond will determine how it continues to go. So I'm a big firm believer, even if it's a day from that situation, even if it's 2 months, always be open to apologizing and acknowledging that you didn't intend for it to go that way, or you weren't intending for your words to sound or whatever. But acknowledging that someone else's feelings was hurt by something that you did goes a long way. Goes a long way, even if you're not even, taking responsibility, but just acknowledging the fact that you played a part in something that meant so much to them to where it got to wherever it got to. And I mean, we're talking about miscommunication, so obviously it got a little heated, but that's how you come back from those things. That's how you build that trust in that relationship. Like, I can talk to you. I know it might not be an easy conversation. I know you may get upset with me, but I can talk to you. Like, I can come and tell you that X, Y, and Z, and that you're going to find a way to look through all of that and still find a way to make this okay for us.
Yep, I agree.
Let's have some fun.
That's what I'm about to say.
What's fun we gonna talk about?
Yeah. I was about to say that because we have a debate on something, and I want to really get into it. But I'm gonna take a poll from the people. So I want the people to put a poll in the comments. All right, that's how we're gonna do it. So we're gonna see right now. They're gonna put a poll in the comments, and we're gonna see just really how many men out here, okay, versus these women. Y'all say y'all do this. I say personally, we had a debate that men do not care about a female's eyelashes. Okay, we don't care, and we definitely don't care when they're like sitting like this on top of your face, and you got these big old fans, flopping around, and then they get crazy at the end of the night and they start kind of shifting, and one of them the glue and came off and all that. That right, we don't. I personally said that us men don't care for that. Okay, and she said that no.
Okay, so
there's men out there that love it, and
let me
we do it for you guys. And
let me back this up because he's skipping a very crucial part of the conversation.
What am I skipping?
So what really happened is that he said women don't get dressed up and look good and do their hair and their makeup for themselves. They do that for a man's attention. Okay, which some But all no, I know, like I told him, I know there are women that just get up in the morning. They're like, let me get myself together. Let me do my hair, my nails, my lashes, whatever's going to make her feel good about herself that day with or without a man. And she's going to go about her day because that's just how you get yourself ready in the morning. That's what you do. If you want to put that on or, the little lip gloss, I don't do none of that. I put chapstick on and brush my teeth.
And before she be going, I said, and I said you wouldn't do any of that if it was no men on the planet. So look, that's cap. So
it's not cap.
If there was no men on the planet, you would not do any of that.
I am one woman who knows my man does not care about my eyelashes, my makeup patterns. He don't care if I got highlighter on or not. He prefers me to look natural. So it's easy for me. But for the man who enjoys his woman to be dolled up, okay, I understand the responsibility of a woman having to do that 24/7. So no, sometimes there's a single woman out there, hey girl, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna get cute for myself. I'm gonna feel good about myself. I don't need a man. And so that is the woman who does go get her nails done every 2 to 3 weeks, or she goes and gets a wax because she wants to prioritize herself without a man. It is not so uncommon. I don't know where he come from with this.
In the comments, I need y'all to say, would y'all be doing that if there was no men on this planet? Like the comments up. No men on this planet.
And I'll say this too, since this is the other half of the discussion we'd be having, because natural women bodies don't get celebrated enough. So what happens in return to the woman? We hear these songs about how she got a big booty and how she got this and a thin waist and a long and she looked like and she got all of that. And so when you don't look like that, when you don't feel you look like that, when a man don't compliment you about your big booty and sit in a cup on it, all of that, you feel the need to want to fulfill yourself and make yourself look like that. Like subliminally. I say that word horribly, but subconsciously you're telling yourself like, I don't have a big butt. I don't have the big chest and the tailored chin and all of that. Like, am I not good enough? Why isn't this type of man that I want to be looking at me isn't looking at me because I don't have this body? So I'm going to fly to wherever, go get these injections and these body parts and these booties and these things. And some of these women are dying behind this.
And that's
what
it is
crazy. But there are not men out there, okay? Your local rappers ain't telling.
Watch this.
They're not telling these young ladies, don't go get those BBLs and we don't care about your eyelashes. Okay. We like natural A cups and natural toenails. Okay. And like, I'm telling you, these men will still celebrate them big booties.
Right.
And they don't celebrate the natural booties enough.
You ready to break it
down?
So
if you don't want if you don't want women doing it, y'all need to celebrate the natural bodies more often. Tell a woman who's had 2 or 3 of your kids she's beautiful.
They do. So now let's break it down. Let's break it down. Now we're gonna break it down. You heard her side. You heard the woman's side of things. So now, and if this is how women are thinking, that's why we had this debate.
Let's talk about it.
Y'all here putting yourself under the knife. Y'all moving fat around and things in weird places and putting them in other places and putting yourself on the cutting board and putting yourself in danger. I'm telling you right now, you don't have to do it. Now, why you don't have to do it? I'm going to show you the difference. Okay. You seen all that? Yeah, they get up subconscious and no man told her about her butt and she didn't tell him that I could sit a cup on top and all these different things. You know the difference in a woman and a man? The ugliest woman right now. And I'm just saying it. I don't want to get no backlash, but the ugliest, most least desirable, probably has the worst
I know what you
hygiene
about to
even.
say.
Just you look at it, you like, oh my God, woo, somebody slapped God when they seen you. Just like, oh my God. Don't take but so bad. Even that woman right now has somebody in her inbox right now. Some man. Hey. See, the difference is a woman can go to any you don't have a problem with getting a man's attention. You can go in the club right now, tap a man on the shoulder, say, hey, I like the way you carry yourself. You look desirable, type person I would like to get to know. You want to come on with me tonight? You know what? Yeah, duh. Take the shot back and go. A man can do that. He could be the most high value man on top of his game, got a nice suit on, smell good, look good, come do the same thing, and you're gonna get smacked in the face. It's a different dynamic. So a woman can just embrace who she is. Don't have to come out of be something who she's not. Because guess what? There's somebody for everybody.
Okay,
so,
but the way you said it is like she could get any man. Okay, but that may not be the man she's looking for.
Oh, well, okay,
maybe
then,
she's looking for an A and he's a C,
okay,
and that's not
then,
who
okay,
she's looking for.
Now that brings us
She
to
don't
here.
want to settle
No,
for somebody she don't want.
Hey, look, you can want all you want, but you gotta be realistic with your situation too. You know what I mean? Like you gotta date within your means. Like, come on.
Saying throw those standards out the window, girl.
Hey, then you gotta level up. Then if this is what you're looking for, you're looking for a high value situation. Then you gotta put yourself in a high value.
No one said that she wasn't qualified. What we was saying is that you're saying that any woman can, even the least desirable, can go out there and get
somebody.
a man.
It just might not be your body.
But okay, and there are men out there I see cuddle up with somebody during the winter and the cold months because they got nobody to
see
take
what you know,
care of
but see
them.
what you don't realize, like
So
you were
men
saying,
do it too.
But look, but you don't realize, like you were saying, oh yeah, the rappers are talk about this type of person, and you see them, glorify this type of woman. Yeah, but that's just like somebody likes a souped up car. You like a nice lowrider. You want to bring out on the weekends. You want to hit switches. You want to show it off. Everybody's looking at, oh my God, look at that car. It looks better than so many other cars on the road. But is that the car he's riding every day, though? Is that the one he takes to work? Is that the one that gets most of his attention? Is that the one that's his day-to-day vehicle? No, it's not. So what you're playing into is a man's fantasy. Yeah, we all got fantasy. So if you're playing someone's fantasy, then you're going to get exactly. And then that's what you're going to attract. You're going to attract the fantasy. So then when you start getting dogged and you start getting used, and you're like, how? I just got his lipo and lips injections and my butt's bigger and all this, and I still can't find my husband. Yeah, because that's not what you're going to attract with all that. You're going to attract the one that want to play. Like, yeah, I want to play. Let's go. Let's hit the switch. Let's get in the lowrider. Let's bring you out for the weekend. But then I'm going back to my Hyundai home that's reliable and, and
I'm
gets me to
telling
work.
you,
And do
them
what I need to do.
they don't come with a certified check. They come with some health issues,
Big time.
lots of health issues, long-term financial decisions you have to make about your health when it comes to doing surgery. So
And joking about it and all, but what this already came from is the fact that I'm telling you from a man that's y'all can think what y'all want from a woman's perspective, that's fine, but from a man, I'm telling you that we ain't tripping off that stuff. I would much rather be able to run my fingers through some real hair than some fake hair, or put it off of your wig by accident, you know what I mean? Or when you hug me, your face stays on my shirt, like, oh wow, because you got just so much makeup caked up on. Like, you don't need all that. That's me. I can't speak for the next man, but I'm telling you, if you was to go ask your man, I guarantee you 90% of them's going to agree with me. If you're not, hey men, in the comments,
I want to see the men in the comments.
Put in the comments.
I want to see.
Do you like your woman natural?
If these women is wasting their time with all this Maybelline and these wigs and these fake baby hairs they order off of the internet, let them know they can save this money.
Now look, you
my nails and toes done, eyebrows.
You want to switch it up for a day or two. You want to be somebody different. You want to go out for the night and change your look up. All these different things. Yeah, that's fine. We do the same thing. We want to change up a hairdo. You go from long to short. You put a part today. You got to curl. Like, yeah, that's fine. But what I'm saying is that when it becomes a health issue, when it becomes like you putting your life on the line, when you just trying to go up a couple of sizes in your breast. And I'm not saying that certain men be like, no, you need to go up if you want to be with me. But guess what? You should already know what type of person you with. So if you know this type of person you with, like, you ain't the one for me. You want me to alter my body and do all these different crazy things to be with you. Now, if it's mutual and this is what y'all want to do and this is who you are, then okay, that's different. But if you got to change who you are as a person to please somebody else, that's crazy. And especially when
leave them.
Especially when it's somebody for everybody. And that's what all the jokey jokes come from. What the point was made was, what I was really trying to make is that there's somebody for everybody. You know what I mean? No matter what. It might not be the one you want, but you gotta be realistic too. You know what I mean? Straight up. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna go, I wanna date somebody in the White House. Like, wait a minute, are you in those circles? Do you go to the balls and all them things that they be at and them luncheons and stuff? I don't go there, but I want somebody in the White House. Like, well, come on, man, it's not realistic. You probably gonna get somebody out the block. You know what I mean? Or somebody at work. But somebody for you though.
I agree. You definitely have to find somebody that matches your energy. If somebody's with you and they don't like you, then leave them and go find somebody that does like you.
And especially if you're a woman. Because if you think I'm playing, go test the theory. You go in there with them little bonnets on your head. You go in there with your house slippers. You ain't had to put no makeup on that day. You go walk up in the nearest bar, just start tapping people on the shoulder, bro. And it ain't gotta be the ugly brother in there either. You gotta be somebody look good. All that. Hey, brother, you look kind of handsome. I just wanted to cut through the rigmarole. I'm a grown woman. We're going to talk about some grown things. I just want to go home with you tonight.
Some grown things.
And I bet you're like, what? You just cut through the chase. Man, thank God. You just made my job easier.
So I don't even have to buy you a drink?
I ain't got to buy no drinks. I ain't got to play games. I ain't got to, but trust me. Like, we ain't got that luxury.
I want to know if a woman's ever been rejected after doing that. If you know somebody, I want to hear that
There's
story.
no peach pictures in our inbox. I'm just saying. I don't care. You can be the most high value man. There's no peach pictures in the inbox. Let you somebody famous.
Our last topic, because you wanted to talk, and I know we're getting to that time because the drink's getting low. But what was it? It was women and internet dating and why it is better to social media date than to in-person date. Okay, this is how we're going to end this session because I am not here for the weirdness, okay? I feel like there's way too many scammy people online. And I mean, the online scam started once social medias became a thing. That's when people really started picking up on scams. But I mean, I know where he's coming from, so I'm gonna let him say his piece. But I just feel like people have such a hard time being very personable online. It's hard to, when you're sitting here and you vibing with somebody and your chemistry is good, you might do a little, a little giggle, or the conversation just flows. Or if the vibe isn't there, then it's kind of like stiff and boring. But off of the personal, like in-person chemistry, I think this is where people prefer to date. But I can see the awkward side of that too, because if it's not good chemistry, then you just sitting there and it's weird. But I would prefer that than to be messaging somebody for 2 years, all up in my inbox all day, 2 months, 2 weeks, and all they want to do is send the nasty pics. Ladies know what I'm talking about. And I mean, it comes after a couple of days of chit chat, and they always talk about them. Send a pic. What kind of pic are you looking for?
Wrong person.
It's the majority of people. Ask any of my online daters, tell me I'm lying. These men, they be looking for you, and then when they get to having a couple conversations, and then they act like they just be drinking, and they start asking the wrong kind of questions too early.
Again, wrong person.
Asking for nasty pictures. I bet
Poll.
These single women know they get more nasty pictures than they do dates.
That probably happens on a date site. But like on a date site, that kind of stuff happens all day, right? But let's poll it real fast, fellas. How many times that you was being respectful, right? And you went in the inbox and you said something nice and you just got called thirsty?
Okay, what was the nice thing he said? Hey, beautiful, you looking mighty fine today.
Come on, that sounds like a
That's
lie. Like, I'm just saying, hey, how you doing?
You can't say beautiful no more?
I mean, it's cool, but I'm just saying, like, you say, how you doing? Happy, and even if they just expressed that they had interest in you. And then you look on their profile, they clearly like single, been single for the past 4 years.
But what makes her say she's thirsty if she's just not interested?
Okay, she might not be interested, but you're not interested in nobody, right? That's why you've been single for 4 years. But then in the same breath, you put up a post about how you're looking for somebody. So I'm just saying, when somebody's looking for you and then you start blocking your blessings and you start looking at other ways and stuff, and you start looking at
are you just supposed to accept anybody?
Not accept anybody. So this is why I said you don't. This is the reason why I said that you kind of like don't realize that you have way more power in your hands, or you have a better shot at getting the person that you're looking for through social media versus the traditional way. And the reason why is because the traditional way, people show you who they want you to look, who they want you to see. So the first 6 months to a year, I tell people, don't even count that. Like that first 6 months, that's just both of y'all just being who the other person want to see. You're trying to hold in your anger, even when you're mad, like, oh, I don't want them to see who I really am because they might not be here tomorrow. But yeah, let 6 months pass. And then they try that same thing. All of a sudden you blow up. They see it for the first time. Like, oh, shoot, what the hell? Head done turned around like the Exorcist. You're like, whoa, what the hell? I never seen this side of this person. And you're like, what happened to that sweet thing that was over here cooking for me in the robe? And ain't I'm gonna cook your own food. Oh shit, what happened? I gotta cook my own dinner now. Yeah, shit, things done changed, huh? It's gonna take about 6 months to a year before you see that.
Soft
And then,
partnering.
yeah, then all of a sudden, I've been soft partnering. Yeah, you see, all of a sudden the real side come out. So that's what happens in the real world, right? And then you don't know what's happening until it happens, until you in it. You knee deep in it. You're like, oh man, I'm with a crazy person. And now, it might be hard to get rid of this person even. It moves the person in all kinds of things, right?
Right.
But social media now, the social media way. Person reaches out to you. Hey, baby, whatever. No, whatever. Who's this? You get to instantly size that person up. Instantly.
That's true.
You go into their background, like, who are you? Even if they trying to fake you can't fake it but so much. You can't fake for years. So you go back into years. What was you doing last week? What was you doing last month? What was you doing last year? What was you doing 2 years ago? Who was you with? What type of people you dated? It's all right here. What type of food you like? You like type of food I like? What type of places you go? You cultured? Oh, wow, you like to travel. I like travel too. How do you know that? Oh, because you got all these pictures on all your social media, all these different
That's
places
true.
you've been to. What else about it? You about your business? Let me see. Nope, you're a bum. Been sitting here this whole time on the corner. Every picture I see, you in the park with a couple of brothers and some brews and bears. Yeah, you ain't the person I'm looking for. Opposite. Oh wow. Oh, it says you work for this Fortune 500 company or whatever. I can look that up. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, sure enough, you do. You work in Silicon Valley. It shows right here on your up. Look at your LinkedIn profile. Everything matches up. You get to really read. Okay, how many kids you got? Boop, let's go see. And if you do got some, you ain't claiming them. I can see what kind of character you have. You don't even claim your kids because I found you know what I'm saying? Like you get to do real background
as far
check.
as that, yes, but vibes matter. Like,
The vibes
what
come
if I
after.
like you on paper and I don't like you in person?
What if you meet somebody in person and you don't like them in person?
Then I can get up and just be like, I don't think this is gonna work.
Then I can just block you.
That's
And it's even
That's
easier.
not-
And it's even easier. You know what I mean? I don't even have to go through all that. It's gonna get awkward. You be sitting there, you got the girlfriend hitting you with the fake page. Oh, huh? Everything okay? No? Oh.
I don't know. Or
Gotta
they
go.
might just online stalk you. That probably happens a lot too.
Somebody can real life stalk you.
Well, yeah.
See what I'm saying? The alternative is worse. Like I said, the alternative is worse. You in an awkward situation. You having dinner with somebody you is not vibing with. You trying to get away.
You have a point.
At least online, I can say, "Ooh, this dude's weird." Boop. Oh, this person ain't. Yeah, this ain't who I thought it was. Boop. Or just stop answering the messages. Like so simple. You know what I mean? The little head drop down on them.
You know what?
You go
guess.
through the messages, see the
'Cause
little head
I'd
drop
much
down.
rather not deal with somebody online than to be in person and then want to have a disagreement with you. So maybe,
I'm just saying.
or get catfished.
And I'm not saying
How about that?
offline is not good. What I'm saying is to just close that door 100% and don't even have keep that option open. It's crazy. You know what I mean? It's like females instantly shoot them down. Screenshot it, try to put that person on blast, humiliate them. Then think about what that do for the next person. Even if that wasn't your type, then you went and screenshotted that person in your inbox, trying to reach out to you. You tried to humiliate them on your social media. You put it up. Guess what? The person that really was going to come in your life ain't about to come now because he done seen you put that person on blast. So he thinking, well, shoot, you going to do the same thing to me. So now he don't even reach out because he thinking, hey, you going to call him thirsty or something. And boom, you just blocked another blessing.
Or sometimes you get the opposite. The woman be like, yeah, girl, you dodged the bullet. He was crazy. He ran on my credit and then ran.
Cucumbers.
Oh, man.
Good morning. How you doing? Cucumber.
Oh, man.
I mean, yeah, you gotta take the good with the bad. You're gonna get those, but hey, I'd rather get that behind the screen, delete, keep it pushing, than keep on putting on my best dress. Oh, this is the good one right here. It's my best fit. And then it don't even work
I
out.
don't know. Y'all don't even put enough into dating no more. They don't even get dressed up no more. I feel like they show up in just regular clothes.
Well, I mean, people have a hard time.
Times have
dressing to it.
changed, right? Times have changed.
I mean, you can't teach style. I mean, it's either in you or on you. That's what I tell people. So either you got it, that's why I got stylists. Think about it.
Either you got it or you
Most,
don't,
yeah,
right?
maybe you got it,
Yeah.
you don't. Most people don't really have it. So that's why they cool. And see, again, that's probably our next episode, but that's why people are cool with just being mediocre, being honest with you.
Don't. Well, guys, now you know what we're going to be talking about next
All
time.
right, people are
Yep.
cool with being mediocre. Just be average. You know, it's like, oh, yeah, I don't need all that. Or, yeah, but you know what? You can't really teach style. So that's another misconception they have with like rich people. They be like, rich people, you don't see them wearing all that stuff and wearing fancy stuff. Yeah, but they probably didn't have no style even when they was in school, when they was young. And they was, so why would, just because they have money, they going to have style now?
Yeah, you really can't buy style. Even when people get older, like, I don't think it's something that can be taught. Either you really do have it or you just don't.
Oh, you don't, and then you can pay somebody to do it for
Yeah,
you.
or you follow like the trend or whatever. But yeah,
That's
if you don't know what works for you, no.
Color schemes, how to put things together. I mean, hey, brothers, some of you guys are still having the matching tie with the matching handkerchief. Guys, I need you to stop doing that, okay?
and that's how we're
I know I'm about to
ending.
ruffle some feathers. I know people, they got it in the pack. They had it in their shirt. They had the tie with the matching hanky. They just couldn't wait to put it in. They thought that was going to be on. Let me give y'all some style tip, all right? Y'all can go look it up if y'all don't believe me, but you never match the hanky with the tie. The hanky is to give you some splash, give you some pizzazz.
That's gonna be our final thought right there.
All right.
It's been a pleasure, guys. Always a good time. Look forward to hearing from your comments and seeing what you guys thought. Until next time, peace.
Chilling with the Mayos.